So this year's impact mission trip was in Mecklenburg County, Southern Virginia, nearly into North Carolina. So we had basically wanted to come up with, for each of us, for 3 things to share, from the trip. Our favorite part of the trip, our least favorite part, and most challenging, and then when or where we felt God's presence in our trip. So we stayed at the First Baptist Church in South Hill, Virginia. It was a nice big gym for morning activities and games before heading out to the job sites, as well as somewhere to play basketball, gaga ball, and volleyball. A little known adult fact down there, at least, is that Mecklenburg County has the lowest real estate property tax rate in Virginia. 31 cents per $100 assessed value. So here in Fauquier County, we're 89.5 cents per 100 of assessed value.
I think we should use Zor Church, maybe.
Big difference, right? Yeah, for sure. So our trip consisted of 8 churches, us, Zor, of course, Louisa, Wallers, Calvary, Green Pond, Olive Branch, Melrose, and Woodland Heights. All in all, the kitchen staff cooked meals for 80 people, so they had their hands full. One of the largest challenges for this many people was not the facility or where to eat, where to sleep, where to worship, but the restroom facility, the showering facilities was a trailer with 4 stalls. So 80 people, 4 showers, you can imagine when everybody comes back from being out sweating all day, that that's a little crowded there.
Yeah, there were some long lines to.
But at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, there was nobody out there to shower, so that was nice.
Except as adults.
That's right, exactly. So there were 5 crews working on 7 different projects. Zor members represented 4 of the 5 crews. Crew 1 was named Tool Story with Charlotte and Susanna. Crew 2 were named Super Mario Builders with me, Jaime, DJ, Carlitos, AJ, and then 2 other girls from Calvary Church in Floyd County. Our homeowner was Houston, who is a man in his mid-40s who was born legally blind. He lived with his mother in the house that we worked on until she passed away about 20 years ago or so. We replaced the roof on it. It had probably about a 12-inch diameter hole in it for a long, long time before we got there. So the bathroom underneath of that part of the roof was completely rotted out. We replaced some damaged siding, we cleaned the siding, repositioned window air conditioner, replaced the front door, and tried to clean the kitchen area as best as possible. I'm not sure how much cleaning Mr. Houston did on that home in the last 20 years, but it didn't look like too much. Crew 4 was named Harry Porcher, and that included Philip and Xander. Crew 5 was named Minions of Construction, with Chloe, Jenna, Diane, and Carly representing Zor. My favorite part of the trip was watching our youth interact and enjoy each other's time and company together. This started before we left, weeks prior, and it lasted all the way through and beyond. There was laughter, sometimes very loud laughter at times, of course. Smiles and just overall excitement, most all of the time, just, maybe not at 6 a.m. in the morning, right? Breakfast started at 6:30, and then it was on to the morning games and activities right after that. Then off to the job sites where we arrived by 8 a.m. or so. We worked up until 11:45. There were churches around the area that brought us lunches for the day. Our lunch staff for Super Mario Builders was wonderful. We had different food every day, which was nice.
That's good.
Yeah. And they had to-go bags and everything, so we got some snacks with us as well. We ate, we had some prayer and devotion time, and then went back at it until around 3:45 or so, and then headed back to camp. So when we got back, there were showers and wind down time until dinner at 6, followed by worship from 7 to 8. And then after that, there was, individual meetings of church groups that were there. Then free time until lights out at 11. As an adult, you would want lights out to be maybe around 9 p.m., you know what I mean? Amen. But everybody got a little bit quieter each and every day. The first night it was up till the last minute, right? So Wednesday was a half work day, and we all had predetermined activities to attend. Our Zora group were hosted at Palmer's Point Park on Pearl Lake, or Bugs Island, to swim and relax. This is the largest lake in Virginia with over 800 miles of shoreline and roughly 50,000 acres of water surface. Bethesda Baptist Church, which is right around the corner from there, hosted us for a meal to never forget, along with homemade ice cream. Our contact with Bethesda was a man named Ronnie. He used to own a restaurant, and I can tell you the food did not disappoint at all, or the ice cream. So we were encouraged as crews to interact and be loving to our homeowners, to not only help improve their living conditions through our work, but to help strengthen their relationship with our Lord. With this, we were asked to see if they would join us for dinner and worship on Friday. Super Mario Builders, homeowner Houston, did join us. One of the most challenging parts of the trip for me was to be bunked with our 6 teenage boys for nearly a week. Because we all know teenage boys, right? It wasn't really that bad, and they told me that I did still snore the loudest. So I felt God's presence in my time there more so than I would in a typical week. It was great to be around 80 plus other people there, setting a goal at the beginning of the week, working through the heat and the sweat, long days, early mornings, stinky bunk rooms, and to help those in need who really needed us to be there. Yeah, sure.
My favorite thing was looking.
If you move toward the center, we can get you in the camera.
All right. My favorite thing was seeing the impact our crew did on the homeowner's house. My least favorite thing was finding out the hard way that I don't like being up on a roof. And I got to see how God worked through all the different construction crews.
My favorite part of the mission trip this year was when our youth group went to the lake. It was so much fun. We all were sunburned, but it was so worth it. We stayed in the lake for the whole afternoon until we had to go. We went back in after dinner. It was my first time in the lake, and it was amazing. We all had a great time. My least favorite part was when shingles kept on falling down from the roof, and we thought it would never end. It looks like the shingles would take a while to get up from the ground. I saw God and all the people there and how kind everyone was. I also saw God when we all came together to worship. Thank you to the church for letting us go this year. I would like to do this again next year if everyone else wants to. It was probably the best one yet.
Speaker, always move to the center.
Being told to move to the center. All right, so our cruise project was a deck replacement. Diane and I served as two of the adult members on our crew, and then Chloe and Jenna were the Zora members from our youth group. Our homeowner's name was Miss Hayes. Her husband had passed away, I believe it was about 10 years ago, and he had originally built the deck over 30 years ago. I didn't get there on the first 2 days. Diane and I split the week, so I didn't get to see what it looked like, but from what I hear, when they got there on site the first day, it was in pretty bad shape. So they spent the first day, I believe, tearing down the deck, and then started to rebuild everything on day 2. Diane headed home the morning of day 3 to get to work on Vacation Bible School, because we had that coming up, and then I came in. So when I arrived on site, we were finishing off the footers and then starting to build the joists. So I wasn't there for the tear down, so maybe I missed out on some of the harder work, I'm not sure. But we finished the deck floor on day 4 and then put up the railings on day 5. And Diane was an amazing blessing to Miss Hayes. She actually purchased a patio set for her. So it was, I think for me, the most exciting to get that patio set put together up on the new deck and then have her sitting in there on the chairs, all the youth surrounding her, and got some wonderful pictures of that completed project. So to me, that just kind of was the icing on the cake for the project. My favorite part really revolved around all of the fellowship. Zach spoke to it, but just to see our group just fellowshipping together was really special. And Carlitos already spoke to it, but the day that we went out to the lake, I think we arrived somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. The kids went down to the lake, they came out briefly to eat the tremendous meal that we had, and then they were back at the lake until basically sundown. I mean, the sun started to set. You'll see some pictures when we show the video, and they're still way out there. So we finally had to call them in because, you know, we were ready to get back to the church and the showers. But they literally spent every minute out there, and just they were enjoying each other's fellowship and time. Outside of that, it was really the bonds I saw all of them make with the other churches there. So when I arrived on Tuesday, I arrived just in time for evening fellowship, and all of the churches were kind of sectioned off in their own groups. We had the Zorv group, you know, sitting in a certain area of the pews, and all the other churches were kind of with their own congregations. But by the end of the week, we were closing down. All of the groups are together. We had, I think, members from several churches sitting with our group. So it was just really cool to see those friendships that developed along the week. And then, kind of following on the theme of fellowship, I personally enjoyed most fellowshipping with Mrs. Hayes and just getting to know her and her background and her backstory. And then also fellowshipping with the members of Bethesda Baptist Church that hosted us at the lake and prepared the amazing meal for us. It was really special for them to get out there and just kind of get to know us and speak with us as well. So I don't have anything that negative to say. You know, the shower lines were a little bit much, but outside of that, it was a really great trip and a blessing.
We managed, right?
We did.
For me, I think the trip came at a very difficult time in my life with some family illnesses and some unexpected deaths, and I just felt like I was being beat down, and I was kind of hesitant, like this isn't a good time for me to go, but I powered through and I went, and from the moment I got in the car with this group of girls, all the way through, all the way down the road, each day just kept getting bigger and bigger, and my bucket kept getting more and more full. And by the time I left on Wednesday, I was like, do I really have to go back home? I wanted to stay so much. These girls were amazing, even though sleeping with them, as you said, is a little bit, I mean, you gotta take that's a little bit dangerous, because they do like to make fun and laugh at those of us who snore, but that's okay. It was fun, we had a good time. And they're right, just our homeowner was the sweetest lady, and she reminded me so much of my grandma, which just tugged at my heartstrings. She came out there and sat with us every single day and just watched us and made sure that they were okay. She wanted to understand more about the program, and she didn't understand that everybody on our crew wasn't from the same church, and how we just met each other last night, but everybody was getting along so good, and it was just a blessing to her, and she was amazed at it. So I would think my favorite part of the church was, my favorite part of it was watching the children serve. As you said, we were up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they didn't go to bed until 11 o'clock at night. That's a long day. And it was hot, and they worked. I know that I tried to do some things, and my crew chief was like, that's not your job, that's their job. These kids had sledgehammers in their hands, they had power saws in their hands, they were carrying boards, they worked in that heat, and I'm so proud of each and every one of them. Just seeing them step out of their comfort zone to help others, that joy was just contagious. I know especially for my Chloe, this was definitely out of her comfort zone, but she really stepped up, and I'm proud of her. What I didn't like probably was, first of all, I had to leave early. That was the part that I hate the most. But just seeing how others live that are basically in our back door, and I'm sure that we have that in our own community that we just don't really know about. It was a simple deck repair for that lady that we did in a week's time that just brought her so much joy because her deck had fallen and she couldn't get out back to feed her cats. That was her big thing. Now I can get outside to feed my cats. So it's just knowing that we're blessed more than what we realize we are, honestly. And where I saw God was, despite the challenges that everybody went through, Jaime realized that he's not a roof guy, right? Like others realized they don't like this or they don't like that, but they still powered through and got through the week. Nobody gave up, and you can just see you can see God in all of the warm smiles. The homeowners and the children who are excited to actually get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go back and finish the project for their homeowners. And just the bonds that they created were amazing. And I'm ready to go back next year, so I'm with you, Carlitos.
Jenna and Chloe.
My favorite part was getting to go to the lake on a half day, and my least favorite part was the weather and how hot it was. And I saw God and all my friends.
So this is my first year at Impact, and I had a blast. On the job, everybody tried their best to work as a team, which sometimes was very difficult. The Wednesday when we went to the lake was probably my favorite part, except for Wednesday they threw a mud bomb at me. That's when the mud started. Everybody had so much fun, and the lake was gorgeous. Throughout the week, we were told to write down where we saw God. I saw God in all the friendships I made. I was at first indecisive about coming, but I'm so glad I did because I made so many new friends. There were a few other churches there as well. It was because of fun going to the gym every night to hang out and heading to chapel in the evening. I had so much fun in worship. I think my least favorite part was probably when we had to dig holes to the base of the deck. It was extremely challenging in the hot weather. Overall, I'm so happy I got to meet new people instead of staying at home. In the end, I was so sad that it was over. I wish it was 2 weeks instead of 1. As Jeremiah 29:13 said, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. By coming to these church camps and staying in God's word, you can stay near to him and see him. I hope to do this again next year and have tons of fun once again.
Can I just add, when she says big holes, it was our group, and it was 7 of them. 2 of them were boys. So one was about a 12-year-old boy and one was like an 11-year-old boy. These babies dug 15 holes, 2 feet deep, 10 inches wide with post hole diggers and a digging bar. There was nothing electronic, there was no machine. That's how they dug those holes. So when I say they worked, they worked.
I worked on a crew with Charlotte. We replaced a roof on a double wide for a very lovely lady named Linda Lawson. We were very blessed. It was a very simple roof. There were no dips or valleys. It was just tear it off and put it back on. We worked with 3 other churches. Our crew chief, Scooter, and Vance were locals from the area. My most favorite part was making new friends, getting to know my peers better. My least favorite part was standing on hot shingles. The middle of the day, it's hot, and I was in charge of the nail gun, so I got to stand on all of them. I saw God through our crew chief, Scooter. He's very he's country. He's very loud, but he starts his day with God. He ends his day with God. He's not afraid to tell anybody what he believes. He's very saturated with the Lord.
This mission trip has been my favorite mission trip so far, but I'm looking forward to going to Hawaii. One of my favorite part was hearing Chloe's mom and Diane's laugh late at night. We would laugh all night, and the other trip besides would have to tell us to be quiet.
We're supposed to tell them part.
Another one of my favorite parts was going to the lake with our church and being able to connect more with everyone. The mud fights were fun until Chloe got mad at me for putting the mud in my hair. My least favorite part was waking up early because I love my sleep. One of the questions we had to answer was where we saw God the most. I saw God in lots of people, but these 3 people stuck out to me. First, Susanna. She helped me through the week by keeping me straight and encouraging me to keep working even if I was tired. Second, one of our crew leaders was Sweat. I saw God in him through a lot of ways, but mainly through his testimony. And lastly, our main crew leader, Scooter. Scooter taught me so many things, and I'm so thankful for that. Overall, I had an amazing time with everyone.
You said they're so quiet.
So what we did was we worked on a porch. I honestly forgot the name on here. Sorry about that. But we worked on the porch for her. It was just concrete stairs and some metal bars. That was all that was there. So we had to pretty much measure everything out. Around 8 holes. And once we got all that up, I think we finished around last bit of Tuesday is when we finally finished up. And when we were finishing up, me, Xander, and our 3 crew chiefs and leaders, we stayed back with them to help them put the rest of the deck boards on, pouring a bit of the concrete. While the rest of them, they went over to another lady's house, probably about a minute away. We walked there. They had to demolish porch, reinforce it, put some new boards on. And she was very thankful about that, which made us all happy. The only bad thing, probably some weird powder that came outside the house. I don't know what that was. I think it was insulation. Anyways, once that happened, we had a very nice week with our guys helping us there. I can't remember their names because it's been a few weeks. CW, Phil, I forgot the other guy's name, but he was probably the most joyful one there, which it really lifted the crew spirit and got us through the week. That was, we got all that course done Tuesday, and then when we came back Wednesday, we had the half day. We were able to reinforce everything, and then we went to the lake, which was very nice. You could probably go 200 yards out and it'd still be up to like Xander's chin. And it was very nice. It was very good. It was very good. And then once that all happened, we went back. Food was great. It was alright. But I'm very thankful that thing is better than lunches. They were also very good. We had Chick-fil-A. That's probably all I can remember. That was probably the best thing there. And once we had all lunches, we prayed with the homeowner if they felt like come outside, which they did a few times, which we're very thankful for. I think they were really overall glad that we were there. Pretty sure Thursday, while we were working on the one lady's house porch, we had to go back, spread some gravel on that one lady's driveway for the porch that we did, over the deck. And then we went back, and the week went by very fast. Every single day, it was, once you get back, showering or going to the gym, and then you'd have fellowship, which, it was very nice. The singing, we looked at everybody's spirit after coming back from work, probably tired, you guys didn't shower yet. And when we came back, the singing, I think it brought everybody's spirit back up, just to let them know that you still got more. But we went by very, very quickly, and we got to bond with a lot of the other churches. And,
I think my favorite part of the trip was definitely hanging out and meeting new people from other churches, specifically the other kids, but also our homeowners and crew chiefs. They were really cool. My least favorite part of the trip was the drive to the job site from where we were staying. Our crew was the furthest site, having to drive about 30 to 45 minutes. While it was nice to have that time in the morning, it also delayed us from meeting the afternoon heat. I saw God in our crew chiefs, their patience with us when we didn't understand something and teaching us new skills. They were obviously CW, Phil, and the last guy's name was Barry. I thank Zora for giving me the opportunity to go and hope we can again next year.
Okay, we have about a 4.5-minute video that we're gonna play that just summarizes
You're